platforms. So really excited to hear what you're going to share with us today. But why don't you start with a little bit about Jason E. Taylor as a law firm, what regions you serve, and maybe what sort of cases you handle, and how big the firm is.
Sure. So we're a personal injury firm. So it's almost all car wrecks and then a lot of workers' compensation, premises cases. But we represent injured people. We've got 4 offices currently. I work out of Charlotte. Our other main office is in Hickory, North Carolina, and then we're also in Concord, North Carolina, and Rock Hill, South Carolina. So kind of that region of the 2 states of the Carolinas. We've got 5 attorneys right now and probably somewhere around 20 various staff members.
Awesome. And without showing your age, how long have you been with the firm, Larry?
I don't know if it should. It probably doesn't show my age, but I've been here a little over 10 years now.
10 years. Awesome. Yeah. So I think that's a great viewpoint from when we get into your tech stack and talk a little bit about that. But how long has Jason been in practice as a firm? So you joined 10 years ago, but how long has Jason Taylor
coming
been
up on, I think next year will be 20 years. So he's been here. He's been doing this for a while. I've obviously been here about half of that time.
No, that's awesome. So you don't last 20 years and thrive for 20 years unless you've got, a solid business. So, what is one of the keys that you think to, sort of sustaining that business? I have to say, when I drive to our headquarters out of Charlotte into South Carolina, I see a lot of billboards, I see a lot of faces, but I don't see Jason's face on a billboard per se, but I know that he's been strong and growing. What's the key to success with the firm as far as growing or keeping business coming in?
I mean, if for anyone who's in personal injury or probably any kind of practice, I mean, you're always trying to figure out, what's the best way to advertise, what do you get the best bang for your buck. But I think most firms would agree that referrals and, kind of those clients that come to you from word of mouth are always the best. Not only are they cheaper, but they're usually a little easier to convert because they've got somebody telling them that, this is a good place to go to. So, we really try to focus on getting referrals. We focus on getting good Google reviews, and, we want people to recommend us if, God forbid, they're in another wreck or if a friend or family member is.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I know we talked about that before, and I had to just pull a slide together that showcases those 4 different offices and the fact that like they all say that SEO and being found on the internet is all SEO is local, but office to office to office, I mean, what a strong story. Tons of reviews, great ratings. So no doubt that the referrals and the reviews are an anchor to your business, regardless of which office we're talking about. And, when I look at, I don't know if you've ever done this, but you can actually look at your reviews and look at like keywords, and Google Business will actually call that up. But some of the words that stood out to me was questions and communication and understanding and service. So those are in your top 10. And when you look at the comments that people are leaving, it's stellar reviews there. So maybe tell us a little bit about how you see the connection between what we term client engagement. Again, I don't know if you agree with that term, that's what we call it, right? Client engagement and sort of these good reviews and ultimately the referrals that you get for the business.
Yeah, I mean, I think, for anyone who does this type of practice, or again, I guess any practice, your clients are coming to you because you know more about this area than they do. And, people always have questions about the process and about how different things are working, timelines, things like that. And so, they expect that they're going to get answers in a timely manner. And, that's our job to give them those answers. I think that a lot of times when we get calls from a potential client who's represented somewhere else, usually their complaint when we ask them why they would even be looking for other representation, it's almost always about something to do with poor communication, that they never hear about the firm or anything like that. So we obviously we don't want to be on the other end of that, and so we do our best to avoid that.
Yeah, no, it sounds simple, but it's hard, right? But 80% of success, as I say, as a parent, is showing up and being present and being able to engage, right? And so I think that bodes well for any business, certainly a personal injury firm. All right, so segueing a little bit to tech stack, we've been talking about Neos, we've been talking about case status. So the important business principle of Jason E. Taylor Turner, firm is communications and engagement. So let's dive into maybe the Neos tech stack. So you didn't start with Neos. You guys have used, I want to say maybe Pins is where you started. Maybe take us a little bit on that journey of where you have worked with assembly software in the past and evolved to Neos.
Yeah, so we were with Pins before I joined the firm. I don't remember. I would have to look back at how many years ago. And then that, eventually turned into Neos, which I probably used for, I don't know, 7 years. And then we've been with Neos, the most recent version of it, for I would say maybe 3 years. So we've been an assembly client for quite some time.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, again, that shows, I mean, actions speak loud, right? And being with Assembly for many years shows that they've been doing something right in your business. So maybe talk a little bit about moving to the cloud. I think you guys moved before, so from Needles to Neos. Did you do that before COVID, as I understand it?
I think we had agreed to move right around the time of COVID. I remember the move happening during COVID, although I don't remember exactly when. But yeah, we were on we were using Citrix previously with Needles, and then we switched to cloud only through Windows.
Yeah. Citrix gives me bad vibes on the back of my neck. So yes, anybody out there that's on Citrix, get to the cloud is all I'll say. So clearly when COVID hit, I mean, it sounds like you guys were hedged against that work from home risk, another benefit of the cloud.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we worked from home. We started with Citrix, and it was pretty easy to tell the benefit of then moving over to the cloud-based. It's kind of night and day.
Yeah. And now even with COVID behind us, or at least I think it's behind us. I mean, you even didn't you have, and this might be a HIPAA violation where I'm calling out your knee surgery, but didn't you have a knee surgery where you basically had to, again, shelter in place and bring the office home?
Yeah, I couldn't drive for about a month, so I was exclusively working from home last winter. So it was, I really appreciated the cloud environment during that time.
Yeah. No, I think that's powerful. And again, I love the partnership that we've got with Neos and what they bring to bear on helping that firm, because that's a big part of getting work done is having access to our systems and being able to take that work wherever we go. So maybe we'll transition a little bit in the case status, right? So we launched a year ago, and I noted that you guys were the first to dive into and take the leap of faith. But sort of what was the biggest driver that got you to evaluate case status and ultimately move forward with us?
Well, and I think I've told you about this. We get solicited by companies that offer, new and exciting products all the time. People always want to do demos for us, and I oftentimes don't make it through the email. For whatever reason, we decided to give case status a chance, and we pretty quickly during the initial presentation realized this would be something that would, we thought would benefit us. And really going back to the communication aspect, it was just one more way to improve on our communication and also to make what we're doing more efficient.
Yeah. No, and I'm curious, does it surprise you that as many of your clients use the app? I mean, sometimes that's one of the things that people can't believe is that across demographics that, apps are very powerful. Was that a surprise, or did you expect that to happen?
No, I think you guys told us it would be like that, but I was skeptical. And, I expected our younger clients to probably gravitate towards that, but I've been surprised by how many of our, much older clients will use the app, in some cases more than the younger ones do. So it does seem that it doesn't matter what the demographic is. A lot of people really like to communicate through the app.
No, it's a utility thing that I always say, and there's nothing more important than my personal injury case. Again, I always say that. I hope I never have to hire you with a teenage daughter that's now behind the wheel. And I say that with all sincerity. But if I did, yeah, if I did, that there would be nothing more important. None of those other apps on my phone would be as important as that one in keeping me, going. So great. So we saw a little bit of the integration there. I know you've got Chris on your team, kind of a leading paralegal and case management overseer, but have you heard any good things about Casey AI or the Google Chrome extension from the team thus far?
Yeah, they love it. I mean, especially the extension. It really it allows you to not have to switch windows or kind of change where you're at and be able to see everything right in one place.
Yeah, I think that's key. I mean, anything you would say about maybe on that note, getting employees, like, is there a trick to, we talk about client adoption or consumer adoption and getting them to adopt the app? That seems to happen. Was there anything in particular of note to get the teams like Chris to take hold on the technology or the change or adding something new to the mix?
I mean, I think with any new, anything new you're adding to procedures, there's always a little bit of skepticism, and it does require a little training up front, in which nobody's ever thrilled about. But I think they quickly realized that their investment was going to be worth their while when they realized some of the features and how it actually would end up saving them time. So at least for my team, we had very few issues in terms of getting people to kind of start adopting this into their procedures.
Yeah. No, and one of my takeaways is I think too, understanding Chris's role as sort of being tech hungry and willing to dive in. I mean, we've heard that anecdote on a couple of these other, AI is a particularly one where people can be skeptical coming into it. One of our EAPs had it to where they only gave it to a few employees, but then quickly at the water cooler, the other employees found out that they had it and said, we got to have this. Like, this is impactful. So I think what I've at least observed is that if you get somebody that's a power user and a high adopter like Chris, who can translate it into the firm's culture, right? Like that can be powerful as well.
Yeah. And I would say he's not an incredibly tech savvy guy or anything like that. So I don't think there's a very steep learning curve at all to it.
Yeah, well, that's good. Well, Leah, I hope you take that back to the team, because the best engineered stuff is the stuff that's intuitive. And, you give an iPad to a 3-year-old and they can figure it out. That to me is the best design stuff. So,
yeah, that's great to hear.
Awesome. Well, Larry, any other remarks to share? And again, to our audience, if you got a question for Larry direct, feel free to shoot it there, but we're clean on the question tab. But Larry, we appreciate you joining. Any other remarks you have for our audience about maybe they're evaluating Neos, maybe they're evaluating case status, or both?
No, I mean, if anybody wants to reach out to me directly, I'd be happy to answer any questions about how we use it. I mean, for us, I couldn't function without it, without Neos, and then case status has just been kind of an additional tool to make it just to make us hopefully much more effective.
Yeah, no, that's our goal, and the game isn't over. So we will continue to drive those incremental returns, both Neos and case status, and we're happy to be partnered with you. But glad to see that the technology is working for you, and we want to make it continue to grow. And I do notice that I have to call it out. Jason rides motorcycles, right? Do you guys do a lot of motorcycle cases there at?
Yeah, we handle a lot of motorcycle cases. Unfortunately, a lot of people on motorcycles end up needing our assistance. So,
all right. Well, from a referral standpoint, to all the audience out there, if you've got a case in North Carolina or South Carolina and need the experts, nothing like having somebody at the front of the firm that is empathetic. I know that's a unique community and needs to be served. So keep an eye out on those rearview mirrors, right? And everybody be safe. Well, thanks again, Larry, for joining us. To the rest of the team, Kyle, I think we made it. That no major issues, or sorry, not issues, but questions came in where we had to tap you. I apologize, but
that's okay. I'm happy to be here and look forward to hearing from. I saw a few of our customers already that were attending, so
awesome.
A couple of them have already meetings with us this week. So,
well, I'll give you. I'll advertise on your behalf to say if you're a Neos, customer and you want a partner that's willing to help you out. I know, Kyle, you do awesome work, so we love to have you guys as a partner on the Neos side. We have our customer success team, and I'll tell you, you guys are the hardworking folks behind the scenes. So thank you for all that you do.